Have you ever looked at your bank account and quietly asked yourself one question? What if it's simply too late? Too late to save. Too late to retire comfortably. Too late to build the life you always imagined. If you're over 50, I want you to forget that thought for the next 20 minutes. Because it might be the most expensive lie you've ever believed. Let me tell you about a man named David. David wasn't poor. He wasn't rich either. He was 56 years old. He worked 5 days a week. He paid his bills on time. He helped his children whenever they needed money. He never bought luxury cars. He never lived an extravagant lifestyle. Yet one evening, while checking his retirement account, he realized something that made his stomach drop. After working for more than 30 years, he had less than $8,000 in savings. That was it. 30 years of work, 30 years of waking up early, 30 years of overtime, and less than $8,000 to show for it. David wasn't lazy. He wasn't irresponsible. He simply believed there would always be more time. Next year, I'll save more. After I pay off this loan. After the kids graduate. After I get my raise. After things calm down. But life never calmed down. It just kept moving. Maybe you've said those same words. Maybe you've spent decades taking care of everyone except yourself. Your children came first. Your spouse came first. Your parents came first. Your career came first. And somewhere along the way, your future quietly moved to the bottom of the list. Here's the truth almost nobody talks about. Saving money after 50 isn't harder because you're older. It's harder because you're carrying decades of financial habits. Habits become invisible. You stop questioning them. You stop noticing where your money disappears. You simply repeat yesterday. Then suddenly, yesterday becomes 30 years. That's exactly what happened to David. Every Friday after work, he stopped at the same restaurant. Nothing expensive, just $40. Every Saturday, he bought things at the store that he didn't really need. Nothing outrageous. Just another $50. Streaming subscriptions. Unused memberships. Impulse purchases. Little rewards for surviving another week. Individually. None of them seemed important. Together, they quietly stole thousands of dollars every single year. And that's the dangerous part about money. The biggest financial mistakes rarely arrive all at once. They arrive $20 at a time, $30 at a time, $50 at a time. Small enough that you never notice. Long enough that they change your entire future. Most people think becoming financially secure requires earning a huge salary. It doesn't. It requires noticing the leaks before they sink the boat. Imagine trying to fill a bucket with water. You keep pouring more and more water inside, but the bucket has tiny holes. Instead of fixing the holes, you keep searching for more water. That's how many people live. They chase bigger paychecks, better jobs, extra hours, while ignoring the tiny leaks draining everything they've already earned. David finally decided to do something different. Not dramatic. Not complicated. He promised himself that for 1 month, he would write down every single dollar he spent. Every coffee. Every snack. Every online purchase. Every bill. Every dollar. The first week felt strange. The second week felt uncomfortable. By the end of the month, he couldn't believe what he saw. He wasn't running out of money because life was unfair. He was running out of money because hundreds of tiny decisions were quietly working against him. That single notebook changed everything. Not because it magically made him richer, because it finally showed him the truth. And the truth is always the first investment. Most people think saving starts with money. It doesn't. Saving starts with awareness. Because you can't change what you refuse to measure. You can't improve what you never examine. And you certainly can't build $10,000 if you don't know where the first $100 disappeared. This is where most financial advice gets it wrong. People immediately tell you where to invest, which stocks to buy, which retirement account to open, which mutual fund pays the highest return. But none of that matters. If your money keeps disappearing before it ever has a chance to grow, before you think about earning more, learn to lose less. Because every dollar you stop wasting becomes an employee that starts working for your future instead of someone else's business. And that changes everything. In the next part, I'll show you the simple shift David made that allowed him to save more money in 1 year than he had managed to save during the previous 5 years combined. The surprising part, his salary never changed. When David finished tracking every dollar for 30 days, he expected to find one big problem. One huge expense. One obvious mistake. Instead, he found dozens of tiny ones. None of them looked dangerous by themselves. $20 here, $30 there, $15 for something he forgot he even subscribed to. Another online purchase because it was on sale. The strange thing about money is that it rarely disappears in dramatic ways. It disappears quietly. David added everything together. The number shocked him. He was spending almost $600 every month on things he couldn't even remember buying. That's more than $7,000 every year. Almost enough to reach his first $10,000 in less than 2 years. Without getting a raise. Without working overtime. Without winning the lottery. That was the moment everything changed. He finally understood something most people never realize. You don't become financially stronger by making one giant decision. You become financially stronger by making hundreds of small decisions that point in the same direction.
Think about a plane flying from New York to Los Angeles. If the pilot changes the direction by only a few degrees,
the passengers won't notice. Everything feels exactly the same. But after several hours, that plane could land in a completely different city. Money works the same way. Small daily choices create completely different futures. The problem is, we never notice the future while we're living the present. David stopped asking himself one question: can I afford this? Instead, he started asking something much more powerful. Is this purchase moving me closer to freedom? Or further away from it? That one question changed how he looked at everything. Not just a payment, a choice. The expensive coffee wasn't really about coffee anymore. It was a choice between 5 minutes of pleasure or 5 minutes closer to financial security. It was another week added to the amount of time he would need to keep working. Every unnecessary purchase had a hidden cost. Not just money, time. Because every dollar you spend today is a dollar you'll have to earn again tomorrow. Most people think money buys freedom. But what money really buys is time. Time to retire. Time to travel. Time with your grandchildren. Time to enjoy life without worrying every time the phone rings or another bill arrives. David finally understood that saving wasn't about giving things up. It was about buying a better future.
So he made 3 simple rules. If he wanted something, he would wait 48 hours before buying it. If he still wanted it after 2 days, he could buy it. Most of the time, he completely forgot about it.
Next, he canceled every subscription he hadn't used during the previous month. Gym memberships,
Streaming services, apps, premium accounts, anything that wasn't making his life noticeably better was gone. Finally, he made one promise to himself. Every dollar he saved would immediately be transferred into a separate savings account. Not next week, not next month, immediately. Because David knew something about human nature.
money sitting in your checking account always feels available. Money sitting somewhere else
feels protected. Within 3 months, something unexpected happened.
His bank balance wasn't the biggest change. His confidence was. For the first time in years, he felt like he was finally in control of his money, instead of his money controlling him. And once that feeling appears,
Everything starts changing. Because financial freedom doesn't begin when you save $10,000.
it begins the day you realize you're capable of saving the first 100.
That's the day your future quietly starts moving in a different direction. And David was just getting started.
Because the next lesson would help him save even faster, without cutting the things he truly loved. 3 months later, David noticed something that surprised him even more than the growing number in his savings account.
He no longer felt stressed every time payday arrived. For years, his paycheck had always felt like a rescue mission.
The money came in. The bills rushed out. A few days later,
His account looked almost empty again. Then he waited for the next paycheck. Month after month.
year after year. It was a cycle that never seemed to end. But now, something was different. For the first time in decades, his money was staying with him.
Not all of it, just a little. But that little was enough to change the way he thought.
That's when he asked himself another question. If I can save more by spending smarter?
What happens if I also earn a little more? Most people over 50 immediately reject that idea. They think, I'm too old. No one will hire me. I don't have special skills. But David realized something important. He didn't need another full-time job. He didn't need to double his salary.
He only needed a few hundred extra dollars every month. That's all. Let's do some simple math. Imagine you save $500 every month. At the end of 1 year, you have $6,000.
Now imagine earning an extra $300 each month from a small side income.
Now you're saving $800 every month. That's $9,600 in 1 year. You're almost at your first $10,000. Think about that. Not 10 years. Not 5 years. Just 1 year. Most people don't fail because the goal is impossible. They fail because they never calculate what is actually possible. David wasn't a computer expert. He wasn't an entrepreneur. He wasn't famous. He simply looked at the experience he had built over 35 years. He knew how to fix small things around the house. His neighbors didn't. He started helping them on weekends. Replacing light fixtures. Fixing doors. Installing shelves. Simple jobs. Nothing complicated. At first, he earned $100. Then $200. Soon, people started recommending him to their friends. Without realizing it, his experience became income. That's something many people over 50 forget.
You already own something incredibly valuable. Experience. Young people have energy.
You have knowledge. Knowledge solves problems. And people gladly pay to solve problems. Maybe you spent 30 years as a teacher. Someone will pay to learn from you. Maybe you worked in accounting. Small businesses need your advice. Maybe you repaired cars. Maybe you cooked professionally. Maybe you managed employees. Maybe you worked in healthcare. Every career leaves you with skills. Those skills are assets. The mistake is believing they're only valuable inside the company where you worked. They're valuable everywhere. David also discovered another habit that changed his life forever. Every time he earned extra money, he pretended it didn't exist. He never celebrated it. He never upgraded his lifestyle. He never said, "I worked hard.
I deserve to spend this." Instead, he smiled, transferred every dollar into savings, and went on with his day. That decision felt boring.
It wasn't exciting. It wasn't glamorous. But boring habits often build extraordinary futures.
This is where many people make a huge mistake. The moment their income increases, their spending increases too.
A bigger paycheck, a newer car, a larger television, more expensive vacations,
A nicer phone. Then they wonder, why am I still living paycheck to paycheck? Because lifestyle grows faster than wealth. David refused to play that game. He allowed his savings to grow,
not his expenses. 6 months passed. His emergency fund was larger than it had ever been.
for the first time in years. A surprise expense no longer felt like a financial disaster. It was simply
An inconvenience. And that feeling is worth far more than most people realize. Because financial peace isn't measured by how much money you earn. It's measured by how many unexpected problems your savings can quietly solve. David finally slept better at night, not because he was rich, but because he was finally prepared. And the most surprising lesson was still waiting for him.
he was about to discover why reaching $10,000 isn't the finish line.
It's the moment your money finally starts working as hard as you do.
1 year after David made the decision to change his financial habits, he opened his savings account on a quiet Sunday morning. The number on the screen read, $10,043. He stared at it for a long time. Not because he couldn't believe the number, because he couldn't believe the person he had become. A year earlier, he thought saving $10,000 was impossible. It almost felt inevitable. The money had changed, but something much bigger had changed first. His mindset. Most people think reaching $10,000 is the finish line. It's not. It's the starting line. Because something incredible begins happening once your savings reach this point. You stop making decisions out of fear. Imagine your car suddenly needs a $2,000 repair. 1 year ago, David would have panicked. He would have reached for a credit card.
He would have worried about interest. He would have spent weeks trying to recover. Now, he simply paid the bill. The money left his account. His peace of mind stayed exactly where it was. That's what financial security really looks like. It isn't expensive watches. It isn't luxury cars. It isn't posting vacation photos online. It's sleeping peacefully at night because you know one unexpected expense won't destroy your future.
That's a feeling money can actually buy. But here's something even more interesting. Once David reached $10,000,
Saving became easier. Why? Because success creates confidence. Confidence creates consistency.
consistency creates results. The hardest part wasn't saving $10,000. The hardest part was believing he could. Once that belief became reality, everything else felt possible. He no longer looked at wealthy people with jealousy. He looked at them with curiosity. What habits do they have that I can learn? That's a completely different mindset. Jealousy keeps you standing still. Curiosity moves you forward. David also noticed something unexpected.
People around him started asking questions. What are you doing differently? How did you save so much?
You seem less stressed these days. The funny thing was, his answer was almost always the same.
I stopped trying to look successful and started trying to become financially secure. Those two things are rarely the same.
Looking wealthy often costs money. Becoming wealthy usually requires keeping it.
That's why some people drive expensive cars while carrying thousands of dollars of debt.
And others drive older cars while quietly building financial freedom. One lifestyle gets attention, the other builds peace. David chose peace. If you're watching this today, maybe you're 52, maybe you're 60, maybe you're even 70, and you're wondering whether it's worth starting now. Let me leave you with one final thought.
The next 5 years are going to pass whether you save money or not. Time isn't asking for your permission, it's moving anyway. 5 years from now, you can either look back and say, "I'm so glad I started,"
or "I wish I had started." Both versions of your future begin with the decision you make today.
Remember, your first $10,000 isn't just money. It's proof. Proof that your habits can change. Proof that your future isn't decided by your past. Proof that financial peace is still possible, no matter how old you are.
No matter how many mistakes you've made. No matter how late you think you started. Because the best time to build a better financial future may have been 20 years ago. The second best time is today. So when you finish this video, don't promise yourself you'll start next Monday. Don't wait until next month. Don't wait for the perfect paycheck. Open a notebook. Write down every dollar you spend. Take one small step. Then another, and another. Because that's exactly how $10,000 is built. Not in one giant moment,
but through hundreds of quiet decisions that almost nobody else will ever notice. One day,
you'll open your savings account. You'll see a number you once thought was impossible. And just like David,
you'll realize the greatest investment you ever made was believing that your future could still be different. Thank you for watching. If this video encouraged you, consider subscribing and joining us for more practical ideas to help you build financial confidence after 50. Until next time, take care of yourself. Take care of your future. And remember, it's never too late to make your next dollar work harder than your last.